Boy, you gotta love it. Whether it's an old school 350 or an LS motor, we are pushing a massive amount of horsepower, and it stands to reason we need the brake power as well. So let's talk about one of the leading brake and rotor brands, Aute. Before we do that, let's talk about the actual term called coefficient of friction. What is it and how does it work? Well, it's real simple. I got sandpaper right here, and if I push it across the table, it's really hard to move. That's a high coefficient of friction. That's what we're trying to achieve in a brake system. Right here I have this ice, and boy, it slides right across the table, no problem. That's a low coefficient of friction. We don't want that. We want a high coefficient of friction. Now, how do we get that? You can see right here. This is actually a rotor that come into the shop and a pad. This is a low coefficient of friction. It's sliding right across it. But with our Aute brake pads, not a problem. Right here, we put it on here, you got that high coefficient of friction. Let's talk a little bit about brake pads. I got Sean Lannoo. Sean from Aute, you are here to help us out with some brake pads, man. Let's talk. Let me get this out of the way, let our ice melt down there, and let's talk about these brake pads.
Yeah, these are Aute brake pads. We have over 150 different compounds of brake pad material to meet the needs of today's vehicles.
So what you're saying is no matter what, the compound is going to be OE compatible to whatever's on the car, and you're going to have a good stopping.
That is correct.
Now another thing, let's talk a little bit about noise.
Yep, we do backing plates and rubber backing to keep the noise down on the vehicles.
And actually that's their motto, right? Felt but not heard.
Felt but not heard.
That's a good one. When it comes to brake pads, that's the thing. You want a high coefficient of friction. They offer a whole line of brake pads with different compounds. They even have the electronic. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Yep.
So the electronics has a wear indicator. It'll tell you when the brake pad's worn out. Kick a light up on your dash, you can go fix the brakes, no problem. So they do have brake pads. Now they also carry other stuff as well. Super important, the caliper. Let's talk about the caliper.
Yeah, this caliper here actually has an electronic parking brake attached to it, and it's two pieces. If one of them fails, you can change the other one.
Yeah, that's for sure. So you got the actual electronics here and the brake caliper. So if your caliper fails, no problem. You can separate it, or the electronics. So you got both aspects there. Now, probably the heart of the brake system, one of the most important, is brake fluid, Sean. This is huge. And if you look at this graphic right here, you can actually see you got different boiling points with brake fluid. Then there's a break-in period for the pads as well. But brake fluid is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs water. So after time, its boiling point's going to go down. You're going to get what's called brake fade. It's going to boil. You're going to have a problem. Tell me about the lineup of brake fluid.
Aute has a full lineup to meet the needs for today's vehicles, from .4s to our .5.1. It exceeds the needs for today's vehicles in your hydraulic control units and all your electronic braking that's needed out there.
And I watched one of your videos and you were telling me a little bit about viscosity. People don't realize that makes a difference, viscosity and the right fluid, putting the right fluid in.
Big difference, yep.
It does, and I got a cool demo as well, Sean. If you looked at both of these brake fluids right there, they look pretty similar, don't they?
Yes.
Well, I said it was hygroscopic, which means it absorbs water. So if I put our tester here, you can see the green light. If I go in that Aute fluid right there, it's absolutely perfect, no problem. Then I go into this one that's been sitting for a while, bam, it goes all the way up into the red. So that absorbed a bunch of water. That's a problem, Sean. You need to get in there and flush the fluid, put some new Aute fluid in there, right?
That is correct, yep.
Cool. If you want to learn more or find out more, go to www.aute-na.com. That's www.ate-na.com.